Africa is one of the richest continents on earth, yet it is home to some of the poorest people in the world. This did not happen by accident, and it did not happen overnight. It is the result of bad leadership, wrong choices, and a dangerous habit that has kept Africa trapped for decades, borrowing to survive instead of building to grow. Today, almost all the 54 countries in Africa are deeply in debt. This debt did not fall from the sky. They came because many African leaders mismanage their country's resources. When money meant for roads, schools, hospitals, and industries is stolen or wasted, the economy begins to shrink. Businesses close, jobs disappear, and the government becomes desperate. And when desperation comes, the first thing many leaders think of is not reform or sacrifice. It is borrowing money from the West. But let us be clear about one thing. The IMF, World Bank, and other foreign lenders are not Father Christmas. They do not give free money. Every loan comes with strict conditions. When African countries go to IMF to borrow money to fix the economy, the IMF reply, fine, but you must follow our rules. These rules are called structural adjustment policy. Now listen carefully to what these policies mean for ordinary people. The government is told to cut social spending. This means removing fuel subsidy. It means increasing the price of bread and food. It means higher school fees. It means expensive healthcare. It means cutting support for the poor. Overnight, life becomes harder for the market woman, the taxi driver, the farmer, the civil servant, and the unemployed youth. As if that is not enough, the IMF also demands currency devaluation. This means your local currency is deliberately weakened. The result? Everything becomes more expensive. Inflation rises. Salaries remain the same, but prices doubles. Mothers struggles to feed their children. Hospitals lack equipment. Maternal death increases. Poverty spread like wildfire. So the big question is, did the loan solve the problem? No. It only transferred the pain to the people. Africa is known as the land of raw material for the industrialized West. We export crude oil, cocoa, gold, cotton, timber, and agricultural products, but here is the painful truth. We sell these raw materials cheaply to industrialized West, and then we buy back finished products at very high prices. What little money we earn from export goes straight back to the same country, not for development but to repay debt. Africa remains poor not because it produces nothing, but because it produces for others. Even when African countries try to build local industry, another IMF conditions appear as open market policy. This policy forces African countries to open their borders wide for foreign goods. Cheap imported products flood the market. Local factories cannot compete. Local businesses collapse. Jobs are lost. The local currency comes under pressure. Slowly but surely, African-made products disappear from the market. This is how borrowing quietly kills local production. One of the biggest enemies of Africa's economy is corruption. But corruption leads to borrowing, and borrowing deepens corruption. Politicians steal public funds, then borrow in the name of people to cover their failures. The people suffers while the debt remains for generations unborn. Africa is not poor because it lacks resources. Africa is poor because many leaders lack love for Africa. The way forward is simple, but it requires courage. African leaders must cut the cost of governance. They must stop using public money to settle political allies. They must invest in local production, local industry, and local talent. Borrowing must be the last option, not the first solution. Africa must learn to process what it produces and consume what it makes. Until African leaders begin to think like patriots and not passengers, the cycle will continue. And so, dear African brothers and sisters, the poverty you see around you is not your fault. It is a system built on bad leadership and dangerous borrowing. But one day Africa will rise, not by loan, but by truth, discipline, and love for the land. Because a continent so rich should never beg to survive.